Hi, and welcome to Sunday with Mike. On today's show, I'm going to cover what does it take to be a successful DJ, respecting venue times, keeping your deposits in a separate account, and finally, we'll tackle stereo versus mono. So grab yourself a cup of coffee and join me. I'll be right back. So I've got my coffee and I hope you have yours. You know, it used to be that when a DJ was hired, he was a friend of someone and very little marketing was involved. Everyone had a full-time job doing something else, and DJing was for more fun and extra cash than anything at all. But boy, have times sure have changed. Today, you need to be a salesman, a marketing guru, a data clerk, an accountant, a graphics artist, and a manager and an owner. It is impossible to cover all of those tasks efficiently. Once you've arrived at the gig, now you could be expected to be a production coordinator, a sound engineer, an event coordinator, and don't forget, a customer service representative as well. Did I mention that while you're learning all these skills that the public thinks all you do is press play? I have no idea how this play button is supposed to magically show up in a place where you could press it, or how the songs magically appear on the computer either, but that's a whole different show. Under no circumstances are you to raise your rates. No, sir. We want you to charge the same amount that you charged before computers were invented. After all, they do make your life much easier, and now you don't have to lug all those CDs and albums around with you. In fact, we should even get a bigger discount because you don't have to haul all that stuff anymore. Does that sound familiar? I bet it does, because I hear it all the time. Knowing what to play and when to play it is a skill worth your fee all by itself, forgetting everything else. But somehow reading a crowd, beat matching, and programming music wasn't even mentioned in the list of skills that you need to be a DJ. In all seriousness, take a look at all of these things and ask yourself, do you need any help in any of those areas? It would surprise me if you could say no, because everybody does. We all need to improve, and nobody's great at everything. So find those areas that you're weak in, dive in, and start filling in your holes. I'm convinced that it is only going to get worse for us. Learn all that you can in each of these areas and charge what your services are worth, not what somebody else charges.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
You know, I've been hearing a lot lately about wrapping up at the end of an event and someone yells, "Hey, play one more song." I've heard all of the pros and cons over the years about this argument, and for me, it comes down to this. Unless you are willing to dig into your own pocket to pay for the venue's electricity, staffing, beverages, etc., then by all means, feel free to go ahead and play that one more song and go past the official ending time, no problem whatsoever. But unless you're willing to do that, you have a problem. Because in most cases, when you arrive at a venue, you are standing on private property. You are there as a guest of the owner of that property. You can be ejected from that property if you create a problem for the venue. Doesn't matter who hired you. It's private property. This is a very important thing for you to understand. Just because a client says to keep playing does not give you the automatic right to do so. How would you like it if the venue turned off a circuit breaker? They can if they wanted to. Would they? Not unless you really upset somebody. I doubt if it would ever happen. But here we go. So cue up the, well, if they damage my gear, they're going to have to pay for it. Okay, I get it. Send me a copy of that judgment when you win that one in court, because I'd love to read it. If you're starting to realize that you do not have the upper hand and that the venue does, you'll start to understand how this works, and you'll start to have fewer problems with your events. So how should you handle a request to keep playing beyond the ending time? My advice is to go up to the venue manager and ask for permission before you assume that it's okay. By going to the manager and getting their permission, it will go a really long way towards you being looked at as a professional and someone who likes doing things the right way. If you don't want to ask the manager, then have your client do it, but get the manager to come by to let you know that it's okay, so that you know everybody's on the up and up. Otherwise, arrive when you are supposed to, play until the ending time, and then stop playing music. It's that simple. It's not up to you to decide if you want to keep playing, and the sooner that you learn this lesson, the more respected you will become in your marketplace as the person who is always arriving on time and ending on time, which will make you jump to the top of the referral list. So do you keep your deposit money separate from your normal checkbook? You should, because in most cases it's called unearned income, and there could be certain times when you'll need or want to refund a client their money. I recently had a bad experience with a bride-to-be who wanted some of our lighting services. Her venue is across town and is 30 minutes each way. Nevertheless, we agreed to schedule a meeting so that we could test out the different places that our monogram would look best in this newer venue. The client was distracted by phone calls, chatting with other family members and other vendors, and what should have taken about 20 minutes to wrap up ended up taking up 2 hours of our time. In addition to my travel, was for a total of 3 hours round trip. I got a $200 invoice off of that, which isn't all that bad, but later she decided she wanted to add 4 accent uplights, so that was great. The bill started increasing. So we invoiced her for that, we got the deposit, and all was well for about 3 months. The next thing I know, she was considering adding some additional accent uplights to the package, making it 12 instead of 4. We gave her our discounted pricing, but before she would make a decision, she would require that we make yet another trip across town so that she could visualize what they look like on her wedding day. Since I had already given her a free meeting at the venue that took 3 hours of my life that I'll never get back, I offered a free meeting at our office, or if she really wanted me to go back to the venue again, I would need to charge her an additional fee for our time. I explained that we have plenty of pictures on our website from other venues that she could visualize with. Even though she could see them in real life at no cost in our office, that was not good enough. Now she's telling me for the next 6 minutes how unprofessional I am, and that she can't believe that I wouldn't repeat this experience all over and give up another 3 hours of my workday that I'll never get back. So, even if she does go with the extra units, I just sat there and had to listen to this over and over. So finally, about 6 minutes later, she finished up, and then I asked would she like me to refund her deposit on the previous stuff, and if so, I would agree to refund 100% of her money. She called back a few minutes later to say yes, she would like a refund, And since the money was never used for anything else, it wasn't an issue for me to give it all back. You have to decide what your policies are and what they're going to be, and you have to do what's right for your business. It's not going to make every client happy, and it just doesn't work that way. So even if you have to someone once in a while who doesn't appreciate what you do and your time, because that was really what this was, is that my time meant nothing to her, but her time meant everything. You're going to have people that will take advantage of you. So do not be afraid to walk away from a bad deal, because you never know what their next demand will be and how many more 3-hour blocks of time will you give away and still end up with no money for it. And that's my case, because we gave her money back. So just keep your money, your deposit money, in a separate account. So that way, when you want to and need to refund it, it's not a problem. I'll be right back. Someone recently asked in a large Facebook group if a DJ should run their music in mono or stereo. It seems that many people don't know the difference, so I thought that I would rediscuss this again. We've mentioned it once or twice before in other shows. When recordings first came out, they were only mono. That's all that there was. It's a single waveform that was recorded and played back. And then later on, stereo, true stereo, was developed. And I need you to think of this as your left and your right shoes, right? They're both very, very similar, but they're not exactly the same. One of your feet could be going up a hill while the other foot is doing something completely different. So when something is stereo, they are completely independent of each other. They can do anything. So how does that matter to you as a DJ? Well, it really depends on how far away your speakers are from each other and your audience members. So let's say that you're in a small to medium-sized room. If you played a song that was 100% true stereo, where what was coming out of the left was completely independent of what's coming out of your right speaker, chances are everyone on both sides of the room would still hear what you're playing without any problem. Now, if we take you and move you into a large concert hall or an arena where you've got thousands of people, now the chances of someone hearing what's coming out of that speaker way over there when they're sitting way over here is probably not very likely. So the best practice would be to run everything in what's called 2-channel mono. So everything that's coming out of the left is exactly what's coming out of the right, and it doesn't matter where anybody is in the room, because what's coming out of your sound system is the same out of every speaker. This way, no matter where they are, they hear the exact same thing. So that's going to be my show for today. I'll be back next week with all new topics to help you and your business. I hope that you'll share the show with some of your friends and give me your thoughts down in the comments section down below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if we've taught you anything new at all. So until next Sunday, be safe and thanks for watching.